So I think we have enough people already on the call. So we are going to proceed. Meanwhile, someone should tell us what they learned from the last lecture. Last lecture, was I there or was I not there?
The last lecture, which was lesson 6, you were not there.
You weren't there.
Okay, I was not there. Oh, okay. So what did you learn? Tell
We
me.
learned about the while loop.
While loop. So what does while loop do? What does it do?
It repeats a loop until a certain condition is met.
That's perfect. So it keeps on running over and over again. It happens the first time, happens again and again and again until a certain condition is met. So how many loops did you learn about? You learn about a while loop. Which other loop did you learn of?
The for.
So what does for loop do?
It loops until a certain period. It loops a piece of code until
What's the difference between while loop now and for loop? Someone else should answer, please. Someone else should answer. I may have answered quite some bit of questions.
The while loop continues looping until a certain condition is true.
Okay, so the for loop, what does it do? What does it do? Someone should say something now. About it. Say something. Faith, what does it do? All right. People should not disappoint me. Come on, say something. So what does for loop do?
The for loop is used when you are sure about like the number of something or like how many
Okay, it's all right. It's all right. I'm sure some of you knows it, but you're not sure if you know it. Let's just take it this way. Loop repeats an occurrence, and it keeps on repeating it sequentially until a certain condition is met. So for loop is a loop, while loop is a loop. Basically, all of them repeat an occurrence. Just that the way of writing the code is different. So that's it. So today we'll be studying something different. Just imagine, just think about a ball. Are you paying attention, Faith? Just think about a ball. It bounces up and bounces down, and bounces up and bounces down. It's a loop. You've coded it so that the ball will go up and come down. It keeps going up and coming down until it has gone up and come down like 10 times. But you want it to be that after it has gone up and gone down like 10 times, it will run again on its own. Go up and come down like 10 times, and then wait for 5 minutes, run again. You keep doing it, you just keep running around and round and round, it doesn't stop. So we are going to try our hands on something that helps us achieve that. Call it subroutine. What did I call it?
Subroutine.
Good. So meanwhile, how many of us were able to study what we learned the last time? I mean, study what we are supposed to learn today. Remember that we had a deal, or have you forgotten? That after each day, you go and look at what we have, what we should treat next. So how many of us tried to learn about subroutine? Oh, that's not good. That's not good. Let's always go on.
I went somewhere, so I couldn't check.
Okay. Sam has given us his own excuse. Does anyone else have an excuse? All right. So what can you see on my screen?
Microsoft small basic branches and subroutines.
That's
Okay.
Microsoft small basic branching and subroutines.
So that's what I want you to see. I just wanted to be sure that you are seeing what I want you to see. All right, we're going to start. So branch your code by using go-to statement. Create subroutine by using sub and end sub statement. We'll just dive deep into it. So let us look at this. Please don't write any code yet. Don't write any code yet. I want to beg you that. Listen to the explanation first of all. So from the text you can see here, as you can see me highlighting, as you know, the computer runs a program by ending the process and statements line by line, one at a time. So when you write a code, the computer will run the process and it runs it one after the other. Remember that I told us the computer runs code sequentially, goes sequence by sequence. So if you want your computer to cook indomie for you, you must have to tell it where it's going to get the indomie. Because if you say cook indomie, it cannot understand because it's not seeing any indomie. That is it. Okay. So sometimes you may want the computer to break the flow and jump to another line of code while the program is running. You can instruct the computer to process a line of code out of the sequence if you use the go-to. So let us explain the code that we have here. The code is quite simple. The first code on the left top, we have the text window dot write, enter a number. So the computer is asking you to enter a number. When you enter a number, the computer is going to store that number and hold it as a variable. And the next line of code is to declare a remainder for the number you entered. So if the remainder is 0, that means the number is an even number. Therefore, the computer will display for you this window is even. But if it is not 0, that means it's an odd number. That means this number is odd. So that is it. So from here, you can see that j equals to 1. And then computer declares what is called line Q. And then text will go to write line j. So j is equals to j plus 1. So if j is less than 10, then go to line Q. So after every time j is less than 10, we want you to run the line Q once again. It can be confusing, but don't worry. As we go on, you will understand it better. But please always not forget to ask questions if you have. Just call, just talk immediately if you have a question. Unmute your mic and ask your question. Because if you don't ask it then, and I forget to ask you, do you have any question? That means you are going to go along with that confusion. So we're not going to write this code because we're just an explanation. So let's go to the next code. Let us try this line out. Let's see what it's going to do for us. Now you can write. Please type it correctly so that you avoid the case of my own is not working. Type it correctly. When you are done, let me know.
I'm done.
Okay. When you run it, what did you see?
Number 1 to 9.
So now, at first, we declared a variable called j. Okay, let me not explain yet. Let others finish writing. I can see that some others are still writing. Just wait a little more.
Excuse me, sir, which road are we supposed to drive? Excuse me, sir, which road are we supposed to drive?
Can you speak louder, please?
Which road are we supposed to drive?
The one you are seeing on the screen. What can you see on your screen?
I can see a code on my screen.
You can see what?
I can see a code on my screen.
I hear you well. What is done?
I'm done.
Okay, 2 people are done now. Let's make it 4.
I'm done. I'm
Good.
done.
3, 4. Okay, right. Let's go on. So from the explanation here, you can see it's trying to explain the codes to you. Here in the program, the line Q statement is called a label, which is similar to, okay, just it's called a label. You can add as many labels as you want and name them whatever you want, as long as you don't use the name more than once. So basically, on the code here, we have a variable called j, and we equated it to be equals to 1. And then we declared here a kind of label called line Q. And then we displayed j. So when you run this text window.writeLine, remember that j is equals to 1. So if you ask it to display j, it's going to display 1 for you. So we now began to started here to do j is equals to j plus 1. What this means is the variable j, which is 1, add 1 to it. It means that j is now going to be equals to 2. So we now wrote an if statement to keep on doing that until j becomes 10. So every time the if statement runs, it will go back to line 1 and start from there. That's why I say go to. Every time it runs, it will go to line 1 and start from there. All right. How many people are hearing me?
I'm hearing you, sir.
Hearing you, sir.
Okay. Just to be sure that I'm not talking to myself. So please pay attention to this part of the code. It might be a little confusing, but don't be afraid. Even if it is too much for you, we can always treat it again so you can understand better. Just don't forget to ask questions, right?
All right.
So That brings us to subroutine. When you write program, you often want the computer to run certain statements more than once. Say, for example, you have written a particular statement and you want the computer to run it more than once, maybe 2 times. You don't want to write it again and again to make it 2 times. You just write it once and you want the computer to run it more than once. Then you will start using subroutine. And for you to actually use a subroutine, you have to create a sub keyword. And then when you are done, you have to end it with the sub keyword. Let us try this small piece of code we can see on our screen. And after that, we are going to try something else. If you are done, let me know. Are you done?
So you said unexpected token hour found.
That unexpected token are found.
Says unexpected token are found.
Okay, I think that's, look at the following subroutine name, token hour. Okay, please, this the
Corrected my work and now.
print hour, did you put space? If you put space, please join it together.
Done together, but it just runs and stop running without doing.
All right, so just trying to tell you how to declare a subroutine. We're not going to do much with it here. The next page, we will do quite some things with it. So this is just how to declare it. You start with sub and give it a name, and then you now write your code inside of it and end it. Right?
Yeah.
Right.
So let's try. Okay, you know what? Don't try this. Let me just write code. You can see my screen, can you?
Yes, sir, I can see your screen.
Okay. Okay. Are you seeing my screen? What can you see on my screen so I can be sure you are seeing my screen?
I see small basic, a small basic food.
Okay, good. That means you are seeing my screen. Okay.
I
I
see
want,
small basic.
I see small basic. I can see your screen.
okay, okay. So let me just give us an example. Let me give us an example of what subroutine does. So right now, I'll start with sub. That is in how to start it. When you declare the sub, then you give it a name. What's the name? I can say add 3 numbers. That's the name of the subroutine. And then, what are the 3 numbers is going to be added for me? Okay, what I'm trying to do is that I am trying to ask the user to enter 3 numbers. And anytime the user enters 3 numbers, automatically the 3 numbers is going to add by itself and display for you the results. So I can say results is equals to number 1 plus num2 plus num3, and then end sub. So this is going to happen. Push it down to somewhere beneath your page. This is going to always happen. So now, I now ask the user to enter the first number. Text window dot write line, enter.
I'm supposed to type what you're typing right now.
Don't type yet. Just look at what I'm doing. When I'm done with that, you can now type. So after you enter the first number 1, so I'll bring it out here and say num1 is equals to text window dot read. So that is it. So when you type number 1, computer will hold it as a variable. So I'm going to do the same for num2 and num3. This is second and third. So remember that I said that I want to add the 3 numbers, num1, num2, and num3, right? Is that what I said?
Yeah.
Okay, now, so for me to add them, basically the next thing for me to do is just to write something like answer is equals to num1 plus num2 plus num3, blah, blah, blah. But I have done that already inside this subroutine. So whichever numbers that I have used here, subroutine will just find it and multiply it and do it for me by itself. So basically, I can come to this place and say, add 3 numbers. See? Add 3 numbers. So I can now say text window dot write line answer is answer. So let me try and run this and see if we did something correct. Something we encountered error.
You're supposed to write read number, not read. I think you're supposed to write read number, not read.
Yeah, because it's number. That was a mistake. So always know that when you're writing programming, sometimes you can make mistake. And then you try to find where the problem is coming from. We are still having an error. And what line? We're having an error in line 1, and then line 4, and line 7. And that's because this is a string. We opened it, we started with a double quote, but we did not close it with the double quote. So you see, good, that's good, that's good. For you to find out where I made a mistake, that means you are following. So we have the errors have disappeared, it remains only one error. So what error is that? It's used, but it's never assigned. Okay, let's do this.
Yeah.
So that's it. Let's try and see what's gonna happen. Why is it still on here? Line 17. It's supposed to be result and not answer. So now it's running. I enter the first number, enter second number, enter third number. It brings out the answer for me. So run it. Now you can now copy the code and run it. Tell me what you discovered.
Okay.
When you are done writing it and running it, let me know.
www.
Are we done writing?
I'm done.
Okay. When 4 people are done, then we'll explain.
So I'm done.
Okay. So remain one person for us to explain.
I'm done.
Okay. So now let's somebody is sending me a message. Carol, what is the problem? Please talk. Let me hear you out. Hello, Carol. Carol. Okay, let us explain what's happening here. Do you know that if I take this guy out of this place and put it here, do you understand what just happened here? The code will still run correctly, right?
Yes, sir.
So this
Yes.
is just going to be a case of you enter the first number, computer holds it as a variable. You enter the second number, computer holds it as a variable. you enter the third number and the computer hooks at the variable, and then you are asking it to declare another variable called result. That variable is going to be the first number plus the second number plus the third number, and the answer becomes equals to whatever the answer would be when it was calculated, when it is calculated. But we didn't want to do it like this. We said, okay, let us create a subroutine that would calculate the answer of any number that we enter. So therefore, we created a subroutine. And this is subroutine. So we've created it and we kept it separately. So whenever computer, whenever
You're breaking up.
Breaking up.
And the second number and the third number, we just call our subroutine. And subroutine, he knows his job. His job is hey guys, I'm back. Sorry for the network hitch. It was just a network glitch. So I'm going to share my screen again. Let's continue what we are doing. Let me continue what I was explaining to the Honorable House. So basically what this does is each time we have entered three numbers, we just call our subroutine again to do what? To calculate the three numbers and give us the answer, or kind of to get the sum of the three numbers and give us the answer. That's what it does for us. So that's how you use subroutine. So sometimes your codes can get long and long and long, and you want to sectionalize it. So you keep some functions into different sections so that whenever you need them, you call them. Don't worry if it's confusing you, just practice on it, try your hands on the material, and then let's see. So we're going to go back to our material and continue the other exercises that are there. Oh, okay, let us do another exercise. Let's do another exercise. But before we do another exercise, let us start preparing for our project. How many of us wants to write a project? Let me hear your voice. You don't want to write a project?
I want to write a project.
You're laughing. Okay, our project is coming, so let's be preparing. And there are varieties of projects we are going to run. We are going to maybe put some of us inside different groups, and then we go figure something out. So we have been working on researching the kind of project to give you. Let's try this. What can you see on my screen? What can you see on my screen?
I can see that your code is running.
Okay, but you cannot see the code.
No.
Okay, it's all right. Let me stop sharing and then I'll share again. What can you see on my screen?
A calculator.
A calculator.
Good.
Cool.
How many of us would like to build something like this?
Sammy.
Okay.
Me.
You have to pay attention. You have to pay attention. You have to pay attention, you have to learn, you have to study, because this is not a child's play, right?
So how do you type 200?
Words are this?
How do you type 283 words in
Just to make a small calculator.
just to make a calculator?
283
Okay.
lines.
Just so you will see that programming is far more than that. The ones you teach in the class is just the basics for you to understand, but it now left to you to go on your own and practice and practice and practice and learn to do more than what you are being taught in the class. So you can even go more than that. You can even go run into thousands upon thousands upon thousands of lines. You see? So have in mind. Pardon?
Is this in the material?
No, it's not in the material, but from the things that we are teaching, come to a point where you will learn how to write a code that can display a button, a code that can display a window for you, a code that can help you color shapes. But if you don't learn the ones you have been taught now and do your assignments, we can't get up to that. You know, we would have gotten up to that by now, but because of we did not understand conditions and loops very well, we have to treat it again. And then we are backwards. But don't worry, we'll still get there. But make sure you always practice, because the higher you go, the more complicated it becomes. I'm sure you understand that now, that the higher you go, the more complicated it becomes. That is it. So there are many, many things that we can develop. Games, stuffs. You see?
Is that bingo?
Connect 4. Is that a game?
It's a game, of course.
Bingo.
Wow.
So you will be able to do that in our project, can't you?
Yes, sir, I'll do it very well.
Yes, of course you can, but it requires practice. So that is it for subroutine. We are going to try out a number of other stuffs. So let us try out something. Let's say so now we have text window dot write line, enter your name. And then we are going to store your name in a variable. And then we created a subroutine and telling the computer that any name that the user enters, just say hello to that name. So therefore, after you have entered, you have used the variable to hold your name, we are now going to call the subroutine greeting. We call it greetings. We call it to do our work for us. So when we run it, it's asking to enter your name. My name is Adedoyin Anjola.
Faith.
So when I click enter, it says, hello, Adedoyin Anjola. So you see that there are many ways to write one code, right? So I don't know, can someone now tell us what you understand about subroutine?
I'm not done copying.
I think subroutine is a set of instructions designed to perform a frequently.
Come again.
A set of instructions to perform a frequently used operation within a program.
To perform what?
Sort of like what small basic does when you're trying to write a piece of code.
There was something you were saying. I want to hear it out. It was sounding nice. A set of instructions designed to perform what?
A frequently used operation.
Okay, I think Mr. Fami Eva got it correctly. So frequently used operation, you use subroutine to do it. Right? So I'm going to give us an assignment, but that assignment is going to be funny because I'm going to go to the other assignments that we have done, and I want us maybe to implement subroutine inside of it.
Can you remove the black screen?
Okay, sorry, my dear, sorry. Can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I say writing, this is just a small piece of code. Are you done writing?
I'm done.
So have you run it?
Yes.
You're working fine.
Yes.
You see, I like yes as an answer. Who else is done? Telema, are you done?
Yes.
So yeah,
I'm
are you
done.
done?
I'm
Okay.
done.
Okay. So let's try something now. Let's say you are about to climb a staircase, and the number of stairs is 10. How many climbs will you make until you get to the last step?
You make 9 steps, then you now get to the 10th one.
Okay. Let us try and use programming to show that. And let's do it with a subroutine. So we say sub climb, and then end sub. Not my method. So inside here, I'd say
Excuse me, sir. I wasn't done writing the code.
for right. What do you say?
I said I wasn't done writing the code.
Okay. Let me share it again.
Also, yes.
No,
If they say anything about me, just tell me.
who wants to say anything about you?
Because someone just said, okay, you. And I've already sent project. I'll just say, I want to do a project like the other person. With you. No!
Ask her, do you know what the project is? That's what I meant to write. Just say like that. Do you know what the project is?
Please, just mute your mic while you're talking about project with your friends, eh? Of course, are trying to write the code.
Right?
The subroutine isn't working.
It's not working. Make it work then. Are you not a programmer? So look at my codes carefully and look at yours. Let's know what is wrong.
No, I'm typing everything correctly. It's just that when I make the call, it doesn't.
It's not bringing out the intelligence.
Yes.
So write it like this now. Just write it by yourself.
Excuse me, it's not working.
What are you writing? So whose own is working? Whose own is working? So nobody's own is working.
Mine is working.
Okay, so why is your own not working? Look carefully on the screen and be sure that you are seeing what I'm writing. Are you seeing what I'm writing? And did you write what I wrote? So yeah, is your own working?
Yes.
Excuse me, mine is not working.
So look carefully and be sure that everything I wrote is what you wrote.
Oh.
So are we done? So we can see now, right? I have given us an assignment. So ask a user to enter 5 numbers. We already know how to do that using the console text window.write line, enter a number. A user is going to enter 5 numbers, and then you are going to use subroutine to get the of those 5 numbers. We have tried something similar to know how to do that. The second one is the same thing, almost the same thing, but this time the user is going to enter 2 numbers, and then you are going to multiply the 2 numbers using subroutine. Then the last one is you are going to ask a user to enter their names. When they enter their name, you will now greet them. Hello. If the person enters something like Telema, you see today, and you are going to use subroutine to achieve all of the 3 assignments. Oh, yeah, I'm sure it's very simple enough, right? In fact, you can even do it right now inside the class. All right, So can someone just tell us what again we say subroutine is, or what subroutine does in your own understanding? What does it do?
It makes it easier for you to write code.
So someone should tell us, what does subroutine do? What do you think subroutine does?
It makes the code short.
Okay. What else?
It makes the code longer.
Someone say, say you made this code short, and that person say you made the code longer. Which one are we going to not believe? All right, I want you to study this and try your hands on the assignment. After that, you understand better, right? And if there's any problem you have with it next class, please make sure you raise it so we can handle it.
Okay, let's
Okay.
Okay.
All right, guys, you can see the assignment. So please try your hands on the assignment. Tomorrow is the last day for the assignment. By Monday, we are going to start a new topic. And if you do the assignment well, if you study and understand it well, on Monday, we are going to treat something very, very nice. And trust me, you will like it. Make sure you don't miss a class on Monday. Make sure you don't miss the class on Monday, because we're going to be handling something entirely new and beautiful. Adedoyin is telling me bye-bye. She's in a hurry to go. Why are you in a hurry to go? All right. Bye, everyone. See you in the next class.
Bye.
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 Bye.